Hi, my name is Buzzy, and at the start of the semester I moved across the globe to study art at RISD. So in this video I'm going to be touring you through everything that I have made so far at art school. So I took 3 classes this term: drawing, spatial dynamics and design, as part of the foundation year course here at RISD. And not to flex, but I got A's in all of them, so let's just get into it. Starting with spatial dynamics, which was my favorite class. It is my nearest and dearest to my heart. Starting off in the course, we just explored how different materials work. So we went through paper, wood, thread, fabric, and wire, just like as an intro to all of the tools that we would be using. And one of my projects has fallen. You just need to wait a few seconds. I will show you. Don't get ego coming into the frame. Some of the notable things that I made in this period was this cloth, hollow foam, little penne pasta thing. This pill box, which I still use to this day. It contains pills. And also this snail / tape measure wire sculpture hybrid thing, which I am so proud of. My roommate bullied me for a while because it's giving like that little snail from SpongeBob. That's the energy, but it's a tape measure, and I'm pretty sure I just cut myself on it. This thing is sharp. Moving on. After having finished all of that shit, we were at midterms, and we had to apply everything that we'd learned, all of the tools and processes and everything, to a project where we actually got some creative freedom. So I was really hyped about this. This was like the first thing that I properly made at RISD. Like, none of that other stuff counted, because now I got to decide what I made. So I put loads of pressure on myself, and then I like struggled for a week to come up with an idea. But eventually, let me show you. I made a fully functional mini guillotine. It cuts tissue paper. It's not very sharp because I didn't want to like die. And I also made a wire sculpture of Marie Antoinette. So I'm just realizing how ridiculous this is. So the assignment was to make 2 different objects that have a relationship. So obviously Marie Antoinette got beheaded by a guillotine. Let me show you how it winds up. And I wanted to find a way to actually like behead the sculpture in the final crit, but that was just like so much effort, and I'd already put in so much time into like hand weaving this little crinoline thing. Like, it's woven. Do you see that? Ooh. Yeah, the head is detachable too. But anyway, that project aside, next up we had to do a drawing of how we felt in the crit. So I made this embroidered piece that took me about 7 hours because I wanted to do an embroidered piece and I wanted to spend 7 hours on it. Like, this was totally unnecessary, but I did it anyway. I stayed up until like 6 AM just like sewing all the individual little stitches in it. For what reason, I do not know, but I did it. I made it. And it also came at the cost of one of my friend's feet. They stepped on my pincushion and got an embroidery needle embedded in their foot, so that was also fun. I was like considering if they needed to go to A&E, but apparently it would have been too expensive. So yeah, America. I ended up transforming this embroidery piece into a piece of clothing for one of my other classes, but I will show you guys that in just a few seconds. Just hold on. I don't want to jump the gun. But just like that, it was finals week for this class. And this class only lasted 6 weeks, so it was like a really good intro to RISD. So for the final, we were split into 5 groups, and each one of the groups was given a sense to make an experience around. And our group got given sound. We all agreed that we wanted the piece to be transformational. Like, we wanted people to enter at one end and like experience something that changes and then come out the other end. Does that make sense? So we eventually settled on making 5 different sounds for the 5 different stages of grief, and then playing them in the main RISD Met staircase. So as you walk up, you're like gradually ascending through the stages of grief into acceptance, and I will play little samples of them for you now. Unfortunately, I didn't get any better documentation of this piece, but it was so good. Like, it was my favorite thing I made this class. Like, we did that. But I was too distracted by the actual piece itself to take videos. I always find that there's this line to tread between actually like living in the moment and taking photos of all of the pieces. Sometimes I forget, and it's not the worst thing. I'm not going to beat myself up for it, because some things don't have to be documented and shared on the internet with everybody. Maybe if you want to experience that piece, you should hire me to recreate it. Just saying, like, give me that solo exhibition. But with that, spatial dynamics was finished, and we move on to my next class, which was design. This class was really disjointed. We started off with a load of color theory stuff, which really was not my favorite. So I'm just gonna skim through it. Next up, we made a pattern, and then we made different digital variations of the pattern, and it was just like, it was not the class. I was thinking to myself, like, how am I gonna endure another 6 weeks of this? How am I gonna do it? But hey, I made this cute room decor. Like, it wasn't the worst thing, but still, like, color theory, we all got into RISD. But just as I was dreading spending another 6 weeks in this class, it got better. It was all good. We went on this tangent into algorithmic drawings inspired by rhode. Let me find the massive piece that I did. Yeah, it's like rolled up in this tube right now, but for anybody who doesn't know who rhode is, he basically creates these instructions, and that is the art, and then he gets people to follow the instructions, and then they create his art. So he doesn't make the art, but he makes the instructions to create the art. So I made a rhode piece, which is his, but it's also mine. This took a whole day in class, and I was on the verge of a breakdown, but my friends swooped in, they rescued me. Section 18, they came, they picked me up when I needed to be picked up. They really pulled through. For the homework that week, we had to make a machine or process that made art, and I wouldn't say it's broken, it's tactically dismantled. We'd only have a limited amount of space here. Like, I can't keep everything. This needs to be burned as soon as possible. I made this drawing machine for the homework. So you put pens in these little holes, and there's little wire holders too that hold pens, and then you like spin it around, and it creates these massive circles on the paper. I can't really remember the assignment. It was like, create a tool or a process via which to create art. So that's what I made. I have made drawing machines before. I remember I did some for my A-levels back in the UK, but never actually like properly handcrafted out of wood. Before, it was just like some chopsticks and a little motor super glued together. This is a whole nother level, but still, I need to burn it. It needs to be gone. It needs to just cease to exist. Like, what realistically am I supposed to do with this? It's so massive. It can't stay in the dorm. The next week was to recontextualize an object. So I chose a bagel because every time I have breakfast here, I have a bagel with spinach and cream cheese. It is my go-to signature meal. So I wanted to recontextualize it for the class. I did this through making a parody of a video by Andy Warhol where he eats a burger, and it's like a Burger King commercial, I believe, or at least it was used as a Burger King commercial at one point. But that's basically all you need to know. It's Andy Warhol, it's about consumerism. He eats a burger in this kind of gross, like, kind of way, and yeah, that's it. Fin. Video over. So I basically recreated that, but with a bagel. And I will put the full video on my second channel in case you guys wanna, for some reason, watch me eat a bagel. But yeah, I made that week. I needed to come up with something for that assignment, and I feel like it's on brand. I mean, Marie Antoinette, guillotine, eating a bagel. I feel like you can see the common thread between these assignments in terms of like them being semi-satirical. But anyway, by then it was week 8 of class, and we got this completely massive double homework. For some reason, our teacher was just like, no more of that color theory for you. Now you get to do 2 homeworks. It was fun. Let me read out this assignment. Okay, create an action that produces a mark and repeat it 500 times for 3 different actions, and then choose one of those 3 actions to expand upon and do 1,000 times. I don't know if you guys got that, but this is what I made. But if that was not enough, we then had to come up with an action or a process to make art, which sounds suspiciously similar to this assignment, right? Like, I could have just submitted this and it would have fulfilled the brief, I feel. But no, that was illegal. I would have been probably not deported, but you know, that would not have been allowed. So I ended up wiping the floor of the workroom studio space downstairs and submitting that piece of cloth as my final piece for the assignment, and they took it. They liked it. Like, the assignment was done. I probably spent like 20 hours on both parts of this homework on top of my other studio work and also video editing and essay writing and all of my literature stuff. Like, I couldn't have done anything better. After that mega hectic week though, we were set a chill light homework to make up for the hell that our teacher put us through, and this was to create a performance about how our body relates to a space. So another performance, I was hyped, but I just felt like the energy and like the overall vibes of our spatial dynamics class was just like far superior. Everything like led into another, whereas I feel like even explaining this design class, it feels very like disparate. Like, it's very like, now we're gonna do this, now we're gonna do this, now we're gonna do this. But anyway, complaints aside, my group decided to draw a line in chalk around the pavement of the RISD museum here as a commentary on the separation and this gatekeeping of the art world from the real world. And this was the point in the term where I just wanted to get something done for the assignments. I was no longer interested in proving anything to anyone. I just wanted to make something that I liked and be done. After that though, it was finals time and we had 3 whole weeks. What a blessing to make the project of our dreams. And if you like cast your mind back to spatial dynamics, when I made that embroidered piece, I took the embroidered piece and I displayed it on this whole blazer that I hand stitched. Let me show you. Here she is. She's lined, she's primed, she's ready to go. She fits me really well. Maybe not when I'm wearing a jumper. It's kind of a snug fit, but yeah. Ta-da! I'm still just like majorly hyped that I made this. I hand sewed every little tiny crevice of this. It took me so long, but it's finally done. It's finally done. This is the little embroidery thing on the back. Got a little booty shot. And I'd actually started this before I got the assignment to make my dream project. So this in total took me 7 weeks, 49 days from start to finish. I mean, obviously gaps, breaks included. I took rest, I took days off, but this was a whole hell of a project. But now I have proved to myself that I can sew. This is the first piece of clothing that I've ever made, and I invested in a sewing machine, and let me show you these trousers that I made. That's so cool, right? Like, I can't believe that I can just do it and make things. Like, hello? They even have this like sequiny fabric. I mean, isn't that so cool? But yeah, sorry. We're getting distracted. I didn't make this for any assignment. I just made this for fun over the winter break. With that, design was finished, which means there's just one more class to go, which is drawing. This class was such a grind for me. I mean, the whole point of foundation year is that everybody does the same thing at the same time. And this can be a blessing and a curse, because I kept on seeing my roommate doing all of these crazy cool things with all of these different mediums, doing all this experimentation in her drawing class. Meanwhile, there was me stuck with the same old little bit of charcoal, the same paper, no eraser, no other tools, just having to draw. Like, it was not fun. I did make a lot of work though for this class. So let's do a little speed round of everything that I made, because there are a lot of drawings. So week 1, we were just limited to using lines. Week 2 was interior lines, and then it progressed to just tone. And then eventually we got the power to have our erasers back. There was joyous celebration throughout the section this day. After having drawn for 4 weeks, just using a little stick of charcoal, an eraser is a blessing. And then finally, we were able to draw exactly how we wanted on week 5 when we got set this massive homework to make 25 self-portraits. In my personal opinion, this was the most interesting assignment of this class so far. I mean, I had never stared at myself in the mirror for this long. Like, I don't look at the little details of my face every day. Who knew that a nose has so many angles to it? That's what I want to know. Who knew? Our teacher did use the excuse when setting us this mammoth of a homework that 25 small drawings is roughly the same surface area as 12 big drawings, but I think you and I can both agree that 12 drawings takes much less time than 25 drawings. Like, 12 versus 25. 25 is the bigger number. Like, come on now. This was also over Thanksgiving break, and like, I thought we were supposed to rest over a holiday, but not at RISD apparently. It's just an excuse to give us more homework. And then after Thanksgiving, finals week was approaching. And this finals week was so chaotic. I mean, you really just have to watch the vlog that I made on it to understand. The link is somewhere here, but it was just so much. I wrote a list of everything that I did. Let me read it out to you. I finished hand sewing my blazer. I did a 10-page literature essay. I got a COVID booster. I did my art history final exam. I vlogged. I picked up my brown ID card and a lot more, including my drawing final piece. It is also rolled up in this massive delectable tube of drawings here, but I was really happy with this. Our teacher allowed us to combine the charcoal with one other medium, and I chose acrylic paint. And this is the first time that I had painted at RISD this semester, which makes no sense as it's what I want to major in next year, but it was really therapeutic and it was really nice to actually like take the time to do the thing that I love. And in terms of subject matter, we got to choose anything that we wanted. So because I enjoyed the self-portrait series from before so much, I decided to continue on with the self-portraits. I feel like they really look like me. I'm just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these paintings and drawings, but I'll figure something out. They're definitely not going in the bin, that's for sure. And with that, that is everything that I have made this term at RISD. This video has been a lot, so I've probably lost coherence halfway through, but at least I hope you guys got to enjoy the pretty images. In my mind, I completely wasted the last semester, but having made this video, I made so much. I'm so proud of it. So if you guys want to see what I get up to next semester, I'm gonna go through this all again, then be sure to subscribe so you can follow my art adventure as it progresses. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Click here to subscribe to Buzzy Martin's YouTube channel. Click here for latest videos. Click here for, what else do you have?
I don't know.
Click here for, I don't know.
No, other videos.
Click here for other videos. Click here for my